Godzilla vs. Kong is now available to watch in theaters and on HBO Max. Naturally, a film about two giant monsters duking it out is going to have a few leaps of logic. Here are some plot holes in the film that you may not have noticed. The iteration of King Kong we see in the crossover was first introduced in 2017's Kong Skull Island. This version of the character was one of the biggest audiences had seen to date, only being beaten in height by his 1962 counterpart in King Kong vs. Godzilla. Kong measures an impressive 104 feet in height via Screen Rant. That movie may have been set in the 1970s, but Kong has gone through quite the growth spurt over the last 50 years. Materials from the film indicate that in Godzilla vs. Kong, the ape now measures at his tallest he's ever been on the big screen at 335 feet. The series does try to offer an explanation for this, with an old interview from producer Alex Garcia saying how Kong was an adolescent in Skull Island and that he'd be doing some growing between the two films. There's even a line in Skull Island where a character mentions how Kong's going to keep growing.
You don't want to wake up the big one.
How big is it?
It's bigger. It wiped out his whole family. Kong's the last of his kind, but he's still growing.
However, that still doesn't explain the scene where we see the skeletons of Kong's parents, and they're roughly the same size as he is. It's possible his parents perished at relatively young ages after Kong was born, and that the ape had simply outlived them by the time the events of Godzilla vs. Kong take place. But even if he's the equivalent of a teenager initially, it still doesn't make sense that he'd triple in size simply going off of what animal species produce. It's not like 13-year-old humans who are 5 feet tall suddenly become over 15 feet when they're in their 50s. It's definitely a jump and just seems like an attempt to get Kong to where he's on equal footing with Godzilla. While Dr. Eileen Andrews transports Kong to Antarctica, there's another human subplot where Madison tries to get more information about Apex from a conspiracy theorist podcast host named Bernie. Bernie has gone to great lengths to ensure his identity doesn't get out to the masses, but Madison is able to get some clues about who he is by going to his website. After about 10 seconds of research, Madison comes across an episode description where Bernie explains how he's able to avoid detection from Big Brother. For starters, it's probably not a good idea to let all of your tricks be known if you really want to stay hidden. Secondly, there are two words that allow Madison to find him, namely Chinatown and bleach. So, what does she do? She and her buddy Josh travel to Chinatown, where they go to various shops looking for someone who sells a lot of bleach. They find that person, and lo and behold, the teens are knocking on Bernie's door in no time. It makes sense that Bernie would want to stay hidden. After all, he's revealing dark secrets about Apex, and as a powerful corporation, they could easily have him killed if they knew who he was. But that just makes it all the weirder that it was relatively easy to find him. If two kids could figure it out, then surely a huge international company would have the resources to locate him. Back to the Kong plotline. Dr. Andrews puts together a crew to transport the big ape to Antarctica so that he can lead them to Hollow Earth with a potentially powerful energy source that could help in the humans' fight against the Titans. The entire time, they're worried about Godzilla finding Kong because the lizard would want to battle for supremacy over who gets to be the alpha over Earth. As expected, Godzilla does, in fact, show up, and the two have an epic battle at sea. In the process, numerous boats and planes are destroyed with a lot of lives presumably lost. After Godzilla goes away, believing Kong is dead, they call in aerial support and have a ton of helicopters come to transport Kong the rest of the way. Wait, was that an option all along? It's kind of like how people point out how in The Lord of the Rings, Frodo and Sam could have just taken the eagles to Mordor instead of walking all the way. It's a well-known fact in this universe that Godzilla likes to hang out in the oceans, so why would they put a beast that directly challenges the lizard out in the open like that? Fuel would certainly be a factor, but there must have been some kind of flight path that they could have taken that would have allowed all of the aircraft to fuel up before continuing on the quest. At the very least, it seems like an option worth pursuing before placing Kong in the worst scenario imaginable. Hollow Earth is a mythical place in the monsterverse where things are more primordial. It's the whole reason they take Kong to Antarctica in the first place, because that's where a portal to this realm is located. Not only that, but the humans require specialized aerial vehicles so that they can survive the intense gravitational shifts involved with going from regular Earth to this new area. And then Godzilla just atomic blasts his way to the center of the Earth with no problem. After all the work of making sure they'd be able to take Kong to Hollow Earth, Godzilla just makes another tunnel in Hong Kong. In a way, we understand why this was necessary. It would have taken up too much time to have Kong come out of the Antarctica portal and somehow make his way to China. This provides easy access so that the two titans can have their final battle in an efficient manner. It just calls into question the sheer power of Godzilla's atomic breath. If it's able to plow through every single layer of the Earth, withstand intense gravitational changes, and break whatever geographical layers exist within Hollow Earth, then he's powerful on an intense scale we can't even begin to possibly fathom. Godzilla should have been able to melt Mechagodzilla right off the bat. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.